You might have seen the title, seen the thumbnail of this video, happened to click on it thinking it was total clickbait. Let me assure you, it is not. I'm just gonna say right now, if you're a family member, if you know me in real life and haven't heard the story yet, you might just want to click out now because you're in for a doozy. Hey guys, it's Kayla and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, if you have been here before, welcome back. But this is video I've thought about filming for the last year and a half and was not sure if I should do it. Today we're going to talk about the time there was a shooting at my house, the time I got shot at. Yeah. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave any comments down below, and subscribe to my channel if you are new. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by my birthday in June, so help me get there. Some background to me and this story. I went to San Diego State University. I graduated in May of 2019, and this story takes place in fall of 2018, so the fall semester of my senior year. My senior year, I lived in a house off campus with 5 other girls. There were 6 of us, and we lived in a neighborhood that was like a mix of college students and families. A lot of people live off campus at SDSU their junior year and senior year and live in a house. If you know nothing about SDSU, just know that it is a little bit of a sketchy area. It's not a super safe area, and especially in the blocks around campus, a lot of sketchy things happen. There are numerous times I personally, and stories I've heard about of houses getting broken into, of violence. One girl got shoved into a bush and almost strangled to death. So many guns, stories with guns. I can't even begin to tell you how many stories I've heard. And so this is one of multiple occurrences. And just to talk about the safety of the neighborhood, like I said, it's a mix of college students and regular families. So it seemed relatively safe, but we had numerous issues throughout the entire year. We had stuff stolen out of our garage randomly. We had some dude randomly walk in our house one day, walked into our roommate's room. It was just not a great area, and lots of sketchy things happened off campus around the SDSU area. And then to start into this one night in particular, it was I think the first weekend of October. I'm not completely sure, but it was either end of September or beginning of October, and my roommates decided to have a party. They had had parties at this house before, and not a crazy college wild party, just our friends, people we knew, our neighbors. They had had parties there before, and our neighbors were okay with it because we were responsible. We made sure the noise was not too loud. We lived next door to really rowdy college frat boys, and they threw parties and were insane about them. So they didn't really care about us because we were responsible. We were all girls. We took care of ourselves and made sure nothing got too out of hand. We were having a party. I had my sorority retreat in Big Bear the next day, so I had to be up at 6 a.m. to go to my sorority house and get on a bus. So I was yeah, I'm fine with the party. My room was in the front of the house, so I was if there's stuff going on in the backyard, I can sleep through that. I wear earplugs, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go to bed really early. So my plan was to go to bed around 10 p.m. Also, another disclaimer, all of my roommates are over 21. Everyone at this party was over 21. All of our friends at that point were over 21, so nothing illegal was going on. The story begins with enjoying the party, having a great time outside in our backyard, and then I was okay, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. I forget why Brian decided to just go to bed with me too, my boyfriend. He didn't really want to stay up. I forget if he had something the next day too, but he was I'll just go to bed with you now. So we go, get ready for bed, and then I'm oh, I need to go to the bathroom before I go to sleep. So there's 2 bathrooms in our house. There's one in the back of the house that's next to the room that connects to the backyard, and then there's another bathroom right across the hall from my bedroom, but someone was in it, and I decided to go to the other bathroom because I didn't want to wait. I was I just want to pee and go to bed. I have to be up so early. It was around 10 p.m. at this point, maybe a little bit before, a little bit after, and I'm going to the bathroom in the back of the house, and the window was open and I could hear what was going on in the backyard. And I'm going to the bathroom and I hear my roommate's friend start saying hey, if you don't know people at this party, can you leave, you're making them uncomfortable. And I hadn't noticed anything at this party strange. I had only talked to my close friends, talked to my roommates, and I didn't notice that there were people there that we didn't know. I just thought they were one of my roommate's friends. I'm in the bathroom, I hear this going on, and then I hear the sounds of fighting, and I'm what the heck is going on? I'm just trying to go to bed, please, let this be nothing. So I go to the bathroom, I wash my hands, and then the bedroom in the back has a sliding glass door that leads to the backyard, and that's how everyone like got in and out of our house. And so I went to the sliding glass door and I'm starting to open it, and I'm like, hey, what the heck is going on? And literally as soon as I'm pulling open the sliding glass door open, I see the lights and hear the sound of a taser going off, and then seconds later I hear gunshots. I've never in my life been more terrified than I was in this moment. I'm like getting anxious talking about it, but like all of my friends are in this backyard, all of my roommates. Like thankfully Brian was in the house, like he was in my bedroom, and some of our other friends were like inside, but a great majority of my college friends, of my college roommates, were in this backyard where a taser is going off and gunshots are going off, and I have no idea where they are from. I'm like still within the boundary of the glass doors, so I'm like not concerned about myself at that point, but I'm concerned for everyone else out there. I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about, but from the side of the house that the gunshot like happened from, like everyone kind of went into that space of the L, and like everyone ran away from it, obviously, as one does when they hear gunshots. So everyone like ran that way, and people were running by me at the sliding glass door. Like I see some of my roommates, and I'm trying to like grab people and bring them inside, like, but also not putting myself out there and like risk myself more, but trying to get people to come inside. I'm like, come inside. Like, yes, obviously you want to like hide, but I was like, it's safer in our house. So at that point I was trying to get people inside, and like people weren't really doing it. Everyone was like running into that corner. And then at that point it starts to get a little blurry in my mind, because I got so anxious and started having a full-blown panic attack. But I turn around and run like into our house to go call 911, and that's when Brian and two of my other friends, I like run into them in the living room, which is at the front side of our house, and they were like, were those gunshots? And I was like, yes. At that point I was very much freaking out, because like all of my friends and roommates were outside, but I was like, Brian is here, he's inside, he's safe. Like my head was still a little bit together at that point. Then him and our other friend decide to like go help and like go outside, and I was like, please do not go in the backyard where there are gunshots and I have no idea what happened, like please just stay here. And they were like, no, we're gonna go check out what happened. So I was freaking out. Thankfully my one other friend stays with me, because she can see that I'm like slowly devolving at this point, and she goes with me to like call 911. I go into the other bathroom that is now empty, and I'm like standing in the bathtub because it was so loud. Everything was so loud at that point, and I had no idea what was going on. I was literally full on blown panic attack. Get in the bathroom, I'm on the phone with 911, and no joke, like within 2 minutes of those gunshots going off, there was a helicopter over our heads, which like, that's the one thing that like I can bring comfort from all of this, is like if something had gone terribly wrong, like there were police officers there like within minutes, and there was a helicopter over our heads, and there were police officers at our house. At that point Brian had come back inside, because I think someone had gotten him, because they told him that I was like full-blown panicking and was not calming down. So he comes inside, and eventually I like do calm down a little bit, because I realized that everyone is okay. No one got shot. One person did get tased, which I'll go into in a second, but everyone was okay, no one was hurt. And at that point was when I like heard the story of what happened. Our roommate's friend had stood up in our backyard and was like, hey, if you don't know the roommates, please leave, you're making them uncomfortable. Because I guess some people had found our address, and these people were kind of sketchy. We didn't know them, we didn't want them at our house, at our party. Our roommate's friend kindly asked them to leave, except they did not want to kindly leave. A bunch of girls started beating up my roommate's friend and started beating her up for like no reason. Who the heck knows? They were asked to leave, and so they started beating people up. And then finally they like start leaving and getting kind of like escorted out by some of our guy friends. And then one of my roommate's friends had a Gucci bag, which I don't know, why do you bring a Gucci bag to a house party? I don't know about that, but that also does not excuse what happens next. So these people that are leaving our house that are sketchy, they tell this guy that they are going to steal his bag, and he's like, heck no, you're not stealing my bag. He's like 6'7" maybe, and like a big buff dude. He's like, you're not stealing my bag, like I don't know who you think you are. So that is when this girl proceeds to pull out a taser and tase him, and then one of the guys she's with pulls out a gun and fired, I think it was 2 shots, 3 shots. And one of the first questions I always get was like, oh, he shot into the air, right? No, he did not shoot in the air to like just scare people off. He shot not directly at people, but not away from people either. He fired a shot into our fence, which thankfully also our fence does not back up to another house. It backs up to like a valley thing that leads to like streets and the freeway and the parking structures from campus. So thankfully, again, that it didn't, like the gunshot didn't go into another house or into another backyard where like other people could have been. And the first shot ricocheted off the ground and the second shot went into the fence. And one of my friends like felt something hit his leg and he was like freaking out. He's like, did I just get shot? But thankfully it was like a rock had ricocheted off the ground and hit him. But like we were very, very lucky that like no one got hurt and everyone was safe. And then these people ran off, they left. The police did not catch them. They had the bullet casings because they were in our front yard for some reason. I don't know why they weren't in our backyard where the shots happened. And the cops like talked to the people that saw the people that did it, because obviously like I didn't see anything. I didn't see these people, I didn't notice them. Some of the people I guess like vaguely knew them and like had information about where they lived or where they were staying, because they weren't even from there. They were from like Fresno or something, and they were in San Diego, and so they decided to randomly crash our party. There's probably things that I missed in my storytelling because I was literally getting so anxious just telling the story. One thing I didn't mention that I think is relevant enough to add in now is that one of the police officers, like some of them were interviewing people and then others were still just like there kind of monitoring the situation, I guess. One of the officers told us that this was the third night in a row they had responded to a shooting in this area, like in this neighborhood. So yeah, that's fun. Like I said, I was going to Big Bear the next day. I was going to go to bed early, and I think I would have been fine if I had gone to bed when I went to bed and like none of this had happened. But then I woke up literally so hungover, and I think it was like a mix of alcohol and like full-blown adrenaline and like panic that like mixed together for and no sleep, because I didn't end up going to bed till like 2 or 3 a.m. because like my heart was racing so much and I had so much like adrenaline in my body that I couldn't sleep. And we were all talking about what happened, and the cops were there for like an hour or two talking to everyone and like figuring out what happened. Woke up the next morning very, very hungover, and I was still like, oh, I'm going on my sisterhood retreat. I didn't think that I wasn't going to, which I had called and like texted like a bunch of our executive board members after it happened and was like, hey, this happened at my house. I don't know if I'm gonna be there in the morning. Like just wanted to give you a heads up now. So I show up to the sorority house in the morning at like 6:30 or 7, something like that. And I almost pass out there because it is so hot in this house, because there's like 200 something girls all packed into the living room, and they all have like huge bags with them packed for our overnight retreat. And at that point I'm like pretty hungover and also like still have so much adrenaline rushing through my body, so I almost puke, I almost pass out then. And at that point I really should have just like sent myself home because I was not doing well, but I decided I could make it. If you've ever driven up to Big Bear, you know that the like one way to get up the mountain and the one way to get down the mountain is a super, super, super windy road. You like literally just like crisscross all the way up. I'm normally someone who does not get car sick at all. Like I can only read in the car, but I have to like focus on the road when we're driving up to Big Bear because I just get nauseous and it's so windy. So why I thought I could survive this in a bus with a bunch of girls and be fine, I don't know. And as soon as we start going up this hill, like the first few hours we're just like driving in a normal bus, and like I don't feel well, but I'm okay because we're just going on a straight freeway road. But then we get up to the base of the mountain and start going up the mountain, and that's when our bus decides it doesn't want to go up this mountain. We're like in full charter buses driving up a mountain. Our bus continuously stalls the entire way up this mountain. The entire way, continuously stalls. Windy road, me very hungover, our bus continues to stall. I literally thought I was going to die. We finally make it up out of the windy road to like Big Bear area, and I think, oh, I'm fine, I've made it. Then we have to go up an even more windy road to get to like the retreat site, the campsite that we're going to, which, fun fact, Parent Trap was filmed at this location. So then we drive up this even more windy road, and that's when I literally almost vomit. Like I like gagged multiple times, and I had a plastic bag at that point because I knew I was not doing well. Somehow I didn't, somehow I survived, but we got there and I was like, I don't feel well, can I just go to sleep? So our operations officer let me just nap because she knew what happened the night before, knew I was not doing well, and just kind of ignored the fact that I was hungover. But again, it was a mix of things. It wasn't just being hungover. If I had gone to bed at the normal time, like I might have been a little bit sick, but not sick to the extent I was. And then the drive home doesn't go as bad because we're going downhill, so our bus doesn't stall the entire way, and we make it home in one piece. And then I immediately went home and took a nap because I was still like, I hadn't slept much the night that this all went down, and I hadn't slept a ton the night before too because we like stayed up late for retreat and then woke up early. So I immediately went home and took a nap. The only people home at this point are me and one of my roommates, and I'm napping, she's napping, we are both asleep, and I hear someone knock on our door, and I'm like, I cannot be bothered to open this. Like, there's no reason I should open it. Like, if it's someone important, they'll text me that they're here. Like, if it's Brian or if it's like one of our friends, like they'll text someone that they're here. But my roommate ends up going and opening the door, and this is when one of our neighbors decides to verbally accost her for what happened, which I understand. We live in a neighborhood with families. Like, it was not something that should have happened. Like, I don't want to be in a neighborhood that has gunshots going off on it. And I forget exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of like, why did you let this happen? I really wish I was the one to open the door, because if he had said that to me, I would have gone off. Because like, sir, the next time I have it on my calendar to get shot at, like, I'll let you know, but I don't plan to get shot at. I didn't plan for this to happen. Like, what else were we supposed to do? Like, we only invited our friends. Somehow these sketchy random people got our address and showed up. Like, we cannot control that. Last part of the story. So I said earlier that the cops didn't find the people that night who did it, and didn't really, they had like some information about the people, but we really didn't know who they were, like really. And they didn't live in San Diego, so we're like, how, like, what's gonna happen? Is anything gonna happen from this? But something did happen from this. So they collected the bullet casings, and I guess they got a fingerprint off the bullet casing, and so they were able to track the bullet to a person. One of my roommates and two of my roommates' boyfriends, the three of them went to like a lineup. They had to confirm that the person who shot the gun, or like the person whose bullet it was, matched the person who actually shot the gun, because like one person could have loaded the bullets but someone else could have shot it. Does that make sense? So they had to confirm that the same person was the same person, and they did all pick the same person out of the lineup. But after that, we never heard anything. I don't know if they got arrested. I don't know if they got charged. So that's the story. The time there was a shooting at my house, the time we got shot at. Yeah, this was just one of the many crazy college stories I have. If you want more crazy college story times, let me know. I can do other ones. Like, no joke, the amount of wild, crazy things that happened to me in college is insane, because like, I'm not a crazy person. I don't like party all the time, and like, I'm not super wild, but just the fact that all of these things happened to me is like astounding. If you thought this story was as wild as it was, give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments down below and subscribe to my channel if you are new. Like I said, if you want more crazy college story times, let me know in the comments down below and we can do more of these. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in my next one.
I'm not sure. We were short, it's been long.